For small volumes of liquid products that require distillation, the kugelrohr is an ideal piece of apparatus. The internal surface area is quite small when compared to the more conventional distillation demonstrated in the previous section, and this leads to a greater recovery of material. The kugelrohr is usually used under vacuum, and the example shown uses a trolley-mounted oil pump to attain a high vacuum, usually well below 1 millibar. The initial preparation of the pump is shown first, and this procedure should be followed whenever you are using an oil pump to help maintain it in good working order. The pump is protected from excessive contamination by two special traps. Ensure these are clean and empty from the last use, and then raise the cooling baths to cover the traps. Dry ice and IPA can now be added carefully to form a cooling mixture. It's a good idea to isolate the pump from your apparatus while you are setting it up by closing the tap as shown before switching on at the mains socket, and then at the switch on the pump itself. Fine control of the level of vacuum is achieved via a needle valve, and this is turned clockwise as shown to increase the vacuum. It's also a good idea to use this valve first to check that the level of vacuum the pump will deliver is sufficient for your needs before proceeding any further. The actual apparatus is fairly compact, consisting of a cylindrical heating oven, control box, motor unit and specially designed flasks. First, insert the vapour duct carefully into the motor unit as far as it will go and secure in place by tightening the screw collars. The vacuum pump can now be connected to the top of the motor unit. Make sure it's closed before opening the main valve on the pump. A light smear of high vacuum grease on all the ground glass joints will help minimise any leaks in the system. The special flasks can now be assembled, the small round flask in the middle acting as a kind of splash head in case the distillation becomes a little vigorous. The whole assembly is placed carefully through the hole in the heating oven and then attached to the vapour duct. And now the vacuum can be applied by opening the tap at the top of the motor unit. The whole assembly can now be gently slid back into the oven after loosening the retaining screw on the slide as shown. When the splash trap flask is inside the oven, close the special door and lock it in place as shown. Also, don't forget to lock the slide as well. After positioning the special magnetic condenser containing pellets of dry ice to the control box, you are now ready to start the distillation. This whole operation may appear rather fiddly, but if the joints are greased and the vacuum applied promptly, there should be little danger of any of the flasks falling off. Now you can switch on the motor to start the flasks rotating, followed by the heater. The needle valve on the pump can now be adjusted to give the desired level of vacuum, while ensuring that any initial bubbling in the flask is controlled. The heating can be adjusted as necessary to achieve distillation of your product, which is seen collecting in the cooled flask. At the end of the distillation, turn off the heat first and unscrew the needle valve on the pump to reduce the vacuum to its lowest level. Remove the condenser and then turn off the motor. After opening the oven door and releasing the slide, the whole assembly can be carefully removed from the oven. The main valve on the pump now needs to be closed, effectively isolating the apparatus. Careful removal of the tube from the main valve will evacuate your apparatus, allowing you to dismantle it and retrieve your product for further work. Before you switch off the pump completely, it's a good idea to open the main valve again and allow the pump to suck air through it for a couple of seconds and then switch off. This avoids the creation of a vacuum inside the pump, with the resultant risk of a suckback of oil into the cold traps and a very messy clean-up job afterwards. Before putting the pump away, don't forget to remove the cooling baths from the special traps and clean them out if anything has collected in them.